the voice of the SEC on CBS, is Brad Nessler, and he joins us this morning. Good morning, Brad.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining us. And, boy, Auburn came into the season with a lot of expectations, and after that loss to Clemson has been living up to the expectations. What have you seen from the Tigers that's impressed you the last couple of weeks?
I think probably their quarterback play has improved the most. Jarrett Stidham came in with a lot of hype. They were wondering in spring practice, is he the guy? And they go through the summer, is he the guy? Is he the guy we saw at Baylor when he was a freshman? And the first couple games he wasn't. I don't know if it was just shell shock of being in the SEC or having to play Clemson the first game of the season and getting whacked around and sacked 11 times. I think that kind of hurt his confidence a little bit. But he's really settled in. Last 3 games, he's been unconscious, really. He's over 70% throwing the ball. Only 2 interceptions this season. But the last 3 games, he's really come on. They don't really have, I don't think, a big-time receiver, but they got 5 guys that are pretty good. And he's decided that he doesn't have to go to one person all the time. Ryan Davis would be the guy that he would look to the most, I guess. But he's got 5 or 6 guys that it's just going to be whoever's open. And but all that's still predicated on them running the ball, and they're running it really good. Kerryon Johnson's healthier than he's been. Missed a couple games with a hamstring, and in the last couple weeks, he has looked like All-American. And if they get Petway back too, then their backfield's going to be even that much better. But nice balance right now. They're just doing, they're doing everything right, and their defense is really stout, which is helping, and it always does.
Yeah, no doubt. And the last 3 games against SEC foes, they've averaged 45 points scoring and really not even had a game. When you put up that many points, everybody focuses on the offense. Do you think, though, that they're kind of overlooking, maybe we're overlooking how stout and how good the Auburn defense also is?
I think this is the fewest points they've allowed through 6 games in about 10 years. So 13 points a game, they'll take that any day. And, having, played some pretty good teams that are high-powered and be able to hold them in check, I think is the key. And you add that to, like you said, I think it's 3 straight wins, 20 points or more in the SEC. They haven't done that in like 30 years either. So that's great balance. When you're beating people up on offense and you're not letting them score on defense, a pretty good combination. And if they can keep that up, we'll wait and see. It's going to be interesting, though, when they go to LSU. It's always kind of a tough place to play. It's an afternoon game. At least they got that going for them.
Yeah, Brad Nessler joins us from the SEC on CBS as number 10 Auburn travels to LSU this weekend. They got this matchup at Arkansas at A&M. Then they're home to Georgia, which on the plane should be just an amazing atmosphere. I'm planning to go to that game as well, so you and I might cross paths coming up on Veterans Day weekend.
We got room in the booth for you.
I appreciate that. And then coming up on, of course, the final weekend is the Iron Bowl. Do you think Auburn, Alabama in the Iron Bowl, this one's going to be in Jordan-Hare, is going to decide the SEC West?
I think it will, yeah. I'm just flat out. I don't see anybody else getting in their way. There might be a stumble along the way, but it's going to be, it looks like one of those classic matchups where, if Auburn keeps rolling, they should be favored. I don't know if they'll be favored against Georgia, but they will be home, so that'll be interesting. But if they keep rolling like they are, it's going to be for the West and maybe more than that. I don't know. Well, that's big enough, I guess, to get to Atlanta. That's the team we're looking for.
No kidding. And so Auburn travels to Death Valley to take on LSU on Saturday, and LSU's had such a wonky season. You have the loss in embarrassing fashion to Mississippi State. Then you kind of need to survive Syracuse at home. Then you lose to Troy. But then last week, you beat a ranked Florida team. So how do you figure where LSU is right now?
I think they had the meetings, all the meetings between the coaches, all the meetings between the players. I think that helps for 1 week, and now they're going to be home, and they're going to try to carry over what they did against Florida. They did get around to playing smash mouth football in the second half of the third quarter and all the fourth quarter, and they were more up to the task than Florida was playing that kind of football. Now, if they can do it again, if Darius Geis and Darrell Williams could ever get 100% healthy, and they're not, that would help a lot. But their offensive line, it's going to be good down the line, but at one point they had 3 freshmen playing in there at the same time the other day, and that's just not healthy when you're playing a really good defense like Auburn. So if they can solidify the offensive line, they're problem guys, and you know it. Nothing against Danny Etling. They can't throw the ball at all. I mean, and they're afraid to turn him loose because they're afraid he's going to make a mistake. You can't go 9 out of 16 in any league, I don't think, which is what he did last week, which is enough to win. But you better run it for about 300 yards if you're going to play quarterback that way. So if they can find a way to pass the ball, they might be all right, too, in the second half of the season. But their offense is just too one-sided for me.
Final question for you, Brad, and that's about Alabama. Last week kind of struggled to get past Texas A&M. Now the famous quotes from Nick Saban that the media hype is rat poison. We don't know if Alabama really is vulnerable because they never really look vulnerable. Do you think that after last week and what Saban said that maybe they could be vulnerable?
I don't think so. Who are they playing this week? I just wouldn't want to be whoever they're playing Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
At home?
Yep.
I wouldn't want to be Arkansas. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because when Nick comes out and says stuff like that, he's saying it to the media, but he's saying it to his own team. And like he doesn't get his point across in the locker room to start with, but he just got his point across to everybody, and especially his players. So, I don't know. I like Brett Bielema. I hope he keeps his job, but I wouldn't want to be them this weekend.
Brad Nessler, lead play-by-play voice for the SEC on CBS. He's going to be on the call Saturday. Auburn takes on LSU, number 10 Tigers, traveling to Death Valley. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern time with the guys on college football today, and then the play-by-play call at 3:30 Eastern time. Brad, it's always awesome to catch up, man. Keep up the great work. We'll do it again.
You got it, fellas. See you soon.
Okay, Brad Nessler joining us from the SEC on CBS.